Happy Friday, gang. How's it going? It's Tara. It's the Friday takeaway. Another week down. I hope you're all in good form. I'm very excited about today's session. Like, really giddy. Because I have a very special guest on with me today. Amanda Grace, the pilgrim herself from Pilgrimsoul.ie. And as you guys are coming on, and before we get Amanda Grace on today, I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about, and I'm also going to remind you of something. So there's two things on my agenda today, chatting to you. I hope you're all good first and you've had a good week. For anyone that is on my email list, I want to say thank you for being patient and understanding. You know what I mean? And to say thanks for staying with me through all the emails, which were a little bit heavier over the last week because of the Biscuit Factory launch. So we're closing the doors today at 6 o'clock. I'm really excited. We've a great group of creatives gathering, or a new group gathering in to join the homies, the family over in the Biscuit Factory. So I'm really, really excited about this new season inside the new factory. So there's a brand new platform, there's new stuff happening. It's going to be great. So I wanted to remind you guys and to anchor in, if you're feeling overwhelmed and pissed off at how long it is taking you to figure things out with your business. If that's you, if you're frustrated, if you're stuck in watching everybody else and wishing you were more like them, if that resonates with you, I can help you move forward with that stuff. If you were a visual artist and you were just sick of the traditional ways of selling your artwork, I can help you with that. I'm all about disrupting the traditional, and there are other ways of doing things. They mightn't be the easiest or the most straightforward, but I've created my business the completely untraditional way, and it's working for me, and I want to share and teach and support you on that journey. So if that means anything to you right now, I want you to know there's help there. How is this help, given to you? Through the Biscuit Factory Mentor membership. Our doors close at 6 today. So if you want to move forward with your business, if you're sick of winging it and you're sick of looking at other people making, building the businesses that you want or living the realities that you want, then it's time to take action, gang. Stop thinking about it, stop talking about it, and do something about it. It's all about action. Okay, so there's 5 hours left. The link is in the bio. Go over and check it. All the information is there. And I just got a message there on my Slack channel from my VA who said, we have 5 seats left, Tara. So there's 5 seats left. Okay, I'm excited. Oh my God. Anyway, today we're talking to Amanda Grace, and before we get this legend on, I'm so excited. Before we get this legend on, we have so much to talk about. And again, to anchor what we're talking about, myself and Amanda are going to discuss what the raw, because if you know Amanda Grace, it's all about the raw reality of getting to a place in your business, true to your creativity, true to your passion, not losing yourself in that whole, I have to turn up like this, because myself and Amanda have built our businesses, which has taken a lot of time, a lot of graft, a lot of heartache, but we're coming out the other end, aren't we, Amanda? We're going to talk about that, the reality of that, and what you can do with your vision and your dream for what you and how you want to turn up and not have to conform to everybody else's way. So we're going to discuss that. But first I want to say hi to people that are coming in. It's great to see so many people coming in. Hey Crafty Owl, how's it going? Hey Derv, how's it going? Hey Siobhan, see you in the factory, girl. Woohoo! Hey Miriam, how's it going? Hey Small Mercies, how's it going? I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Hey Sally, hey Louise, hey Karen Hickey, how's it going? Hey Yasmina, hey Siobhan, bag designer, nice one. We know what you do. That's brilliant. Amanda's there. Thank you, Karen. Karen's still in the factory. Yeah, you're the homestead girl. You're doing great work. Hey, Kerry, how's it going? Yasmina says, good morning. Love your earrings. They're Daki, who was in the factory as well at one point. Hey, Anya, how's it going? Hey, Kira. Hey, Kate, how's it going? Siobhan says, two people that inspire me so much in one space. I know, me too. Well, she inspires me. I don't know do I inspire me, but thanks, Siobhan, for that. Hey, Fiona. Hey, Anna Dorado. There's another ex-factory member. Oh, morning, girl. Good to see you. Okay, let's get this ledge bag in and get this conversation started. Okay, now this is where I always fuck up. It's pressing the right buttons, Amanda. Press our right buttons, don't we? We'll let Amanda come in there now and we'll start rolling. Hello, lady.
Hi, how are you, Tara?
I'm great. It's so lovely to see you.
It's great to see you and all our biscuit friends and colleagues here in the comments. I'm recognizing. Hi, Anya and Sally and Siobhan and Anna. Hi. Oh, look, Kelly is here. Kelly is over there in the USA.
And Barbara's in. There's a load.
Barbara is Kelly. Barbara is Kelly.
Oh, Barbara is Kelly.
Yeah, of course. Like, how could you not know that?
Is that's some? Send me the memo, please. It's good to see you, Amanda. We talk to each other a lot, you know, via all the different channels all the time with lots of different things. And, you know, just to frame it for people watching that might know our kind of history, not going too deep with it because we'd be here for 8 hours, but to frame it for people, we met each other, it's probably 7 years ago, Amanda, isn't it? And I at the beginning of my journey with Biscuit and the Biscuit community, and the beginning of your brain exploding with this amazing vision that you had. And I remember distinctly our first session down in the Lep Inn. Do you remember?
Yeah,
it feels
I
like
do.
yesterday as well. And the two of us down talking about community, staying aligned to our creativity, how fucking confused we were and how to do everything. It felt such a big thing, didn't it, at that time for both of us? And we've been on quite a similar journey in our businesses, haven't we? And I want just to anchor people that are perhaps feeling the way we felt back then, and you know, we continue to feel as we grow, like it never really leaves us. Like, what's possible, Amanda, just to give people that kind of, you know, after that first conversation, what are the kind of things that happen when you lean into your creativity and really zoning in on the vision of what you want? Like, what's your life like now? Like, what does it feel like?
Okay, let me just take a big inhale. And I have to acknowledge, hello.
Oh, no.
We're also wearing my Daki earrings.
That's so funny. I had everyone in, and then I said, I bet you she'll wear Daki earrings. I'm going to chance that. So
I know, I thought the same. And I was like, I was thinking of the big square ones, but I was like, Daki has to be the official earring maker for Biscuit. Anytime I see people with these earrings, I'm like, you Biscuit. Anyway, that's it. Okay, so what's my life like compared to then? Well, I guess because I'm remembering the time that we met, and you know, I think that, and I can only speak for myself, but I think that we were blessed at the time with the naivety of, you know, having. But vision is the word. We had a vision, and interestingly, when we both met, our visions were not the operational, the manifestation of our businesses today. When we first met, I thought that I was going to make my millions selling art and art prints and more merchandise. I thought I was going to be more merchandise. Now, I say that, and I thought that was how I was going to fund what I really wanted to do, which is the work I've ended up doing. But back then, it didn't really, I didn't have the language for it. I didn't really know. So it was a calling. It was a non-negotiable, like I can't not do this. And also I had stumbled across artists, let's say in America, whose books or content that I had come across and had blown my mind. And I was also like, I can't exist in a world where this kind of work is possible and I'm not doing it. And I remember where you were at was, you know, you were more thinking in terms of one-to-one coaching.
That's right.
And so this, yeah, and so the community kind of happened as a function of that and then became the thing, didn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So we started, like many people might be even now, we started thinking this was where we need to go to get the result that we want, when actually what I've learned is if you think about it too much and you don't start, you can't get to where you're meant to go, because I feel like everything is a stepping stone towards where you're meant to go with your stuff. It doesn't feel clear at the time, and you're just kind of winging it with, I'll just try this then, to see what feels right and what works in a marketplace as well. But I definitely think from even us at that point, two pups sitting in a pub having the crack as well about the whole thing and trying to figure stuff out together, I feel like if we had continued talking and thinking about it too much and not running with where we were at that point, we wouldn't be sitting here today. Like, we'd be still thinking about it, wouldn't we?
Oh, there's no doubt. If it had to be, you know, bang on. Do you know how I describe this sometimes, Tara? Do you ever get one of those itches that it seems like it's in your shoulder, but then when you scratch, it jumps over here, and then you scratch it, and then it's down there? Like, it shows up over here, but actually there must have been a source itch. And every time you itch it, you discover, oh no, that wasn't it. And it's kind of like, that's almost the business journey. It's like, oh, that's not exactly it either. And the tweaking and I was only reflecting on this, in fact, this week actually. And I was saying to myself, you know, fair fucking play to you, Amanda, because the willingness to be scared and vulnerable and to be, you know, kind of like reaching beyond. There's a thing in psychology called the proximal zone of learning. And that is, you know, the illustration that's like, here's your comfort zone and here's where the magic happens. What they should say is, here's where the magic happens, and you will shit yourself every, you know, all the time when you're over in the magic. You know, so it's magic and shit. So it's not clean magic. It's, you know, bring a change of underwear, lots of Kleenex, a couple of therapists, and, you know,
I can see the doodles now. Like.
Yeah. And also make sure you've burnt every other bridge that could possibly end up bringing you back into the world of employment. So, but seriously, I know I'm just joking with you now, but well, I'm not. But I was, just as I was coming onto your live, because I went to your page first and I saw your bio, and you said, for ambitious creatives, right? And I just thought to myself, you know, that is so important that to put in there, that word ambition. And I did a quick Google. I love to look up words, you know, and so ambition is a strong desire to achieve something, right? And so it's that desire to achieve the something, and it's the something that is the journey. It's like, I don't know what it's called yet, but I just know that it's a thing and it's something, and it's almost like midwifing your vision into existence. So in the beginning, it was canvases until I could sell enough to buy a printer. And then it was prints until I could sell enough to buy a website. And then it was that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also when we first met, Tara, our first meeting was in the lab, but our first meeting was in another Facebook group where it was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I was like, oh, hi, I'm an anyone. Hi, my name's Amanda and I'm an artist. Anyone, you know, and it was a real like name badge. Yeah, it was just like I had walked into a room and farted or something, and everyone was like, just going to pretend we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Pretend that she's not happening. But you popped up and you saw me and you were not afraid, you know? And you were like, come on over here, I'm starting a community of biscuits. And meeting that Like the community that you offered around it was the game changer. Of course, the work you've done and the support you offer.
Yeah.
Of course. And most of all is the community. I'm looking at the names coming up here in this.
Oh, the
And
gang.
oh my God, the community, like the environment in which to thrive.
That's right. That's right. And it's so interesting you say that, Amanda, because this morning I had an early coffee this morning with a neighbor who is not a creative, but, you know, has told me something, and I actually wrote it down. She said, she just quit her job because of this. Like, you have to be in a place where you're seen and understood, not in a place that you're ignored. If you stay in the place that you're ignored, and she said it was happening to her, that, you know, she was being ignored. She started questioning even her own ability to be a wife, a mother, a friend. Everything is attacked from your inner critic. And when you step in, like you did, Amanda, with me at the very beginning of the biscuit community, we were all seen and listened to and heard because we all understood each other. It's so important in everyone's life, not just in the creative life, but we tend to be the ones that are ignored the most. Like,
yeah. And it's what's very interesting as well, and you know, it's revolutionary what you have done and are doing to the creative landscape here in Ireland, the creative business landscape. My dad used to say, it was a kind of a joke-ish kind of a thing about a person. It's an Irish saying. They're about now as useful as a lighthouse in a bog, right? So, but I think about that idea, and a lighthouse in a bog is useless, but not because the lighthouse doesn't have value. It's because it has no value in a bog. So bog creatures are going to be like, what the fuck is this thing? Like, you know, I don't get it. But if the lighthouse is positioned correctly, where it is actually useful and needed, and you know, the captain's on the sea, be like, oh, there's the lighthouse, we better steer course. I mean, it's context is everything. Yeah. And so most of us have, I guess, grown up because we grew up in an educational system that valued the intellect and memorizing things. I mean, there's no creativity in memorizing shit, really, you know. In fact, that's a distraction from your creativity if you have to memorize things.
That's right.
The way I work with poetry today is the way I wanted to work with it in school, but was kind of like, you know, we don't have time for this, man. So, you know, just learn the fucking thing because you're going to be asked about it on a test. And there was no real understanding. I'm gone on a total tangent. I've heard someone say there's no tangent, but it's context.
It is context. And you're right. I think that, you know, like what I was saying before you came on, I feel like creative people are frustrated with the traditional options. And like even how you work, Amanda, and the both of us, even the way we run our businesses. I mean, people at the beginning used to go, you can't stick a moustache on your face and put that out in the front. Why? Because no one else is doing it. Like, so what? Like, you know, I do it my way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know for anyone listening, if you know, if the traditional doesn't work for you, if you're stuck in a bog with it and you're not feeling like a lighthouse, like you're you know, that there are other ways. Like, you are unlocking people's personal freedom through their creativity in not really the traditional way of how other, you know, mainstream people would say this is how you do it. Like, so I think we all have to be open for not the traditional way. It's possibly at the beginning much harder because you're almost carving it out independently. Like, I've definitely carved out something, and it's hard and it takes time and consistency, but we all know, because we're all so passionate about what we do, we love what we do so much. It's that struggle and that time, I find, is impatience. I want the result faster. Come on. But I
Yeah.
never, it's relentless. Like that's the passion for it, isn't it, Amanda?
Well, I tell you, here's the thing. If I never gave anybody another piece of advice in my life, I think this is what I would say to them, is that if you are the lighthouse in a bog, because here's what the lighthouse does when they're in a bog. They're like, oh, it must be me. Nobody here sees my value. It must be because I have none. And they never consider, get out of the fucking bog. Go and find where people need the lighter. Where is this lighthouse needed? You have to value it. It's a decision that you make. And I know that, you know, I've had days, I don't have them anymore because it's a futile exercise. But I have had days in the past where I'm like, oh, I wish I'd have started this earlier. I'd be so much more ahead. But like, as my dad said, well, if my granny had balls, she'd be me granddad kind of a thing. But like, it, you know, but I have definitely done that. Nobody sees my value. It must be me. It must be because I have none. Instead of making the decision, that's the hardest work. The hardest work is acknowledging the value, believing in it, even when you're kind of like doing the Ferris Bueller, anyone?
Yes.
And not letting the fact that the value is not being acknowledged mean anything about you. Don't make that mean that you have none.
Yeah.
You know,
we go straight there, don't we, though, Amanda? It's like that default with creative people. Why do you think that is?
Well, if you think about if you think about children, right? I mean, when you were a child, if someone got angry, it was your fault. It's almost like, in a way, it's almost believing that you have the power of you, like everything. They're happy because of me. They're angry because of me. It actually, one of my biggest mantras is, this isn't about you. It's not about you. This is not about you. Okay. So, there's a phenomenon in psychology called the fundamental attributional error. And it means that something happens and we attribute that to this. And it is an error. It is pointing at the wrong thing as being the reason, you know. So assuming that that the problem is on an individual level and therefore it must be me. And of course you have shit self-esteem, you know, if you're a creative, and if you're a woman creative especially, and just if you're a human being with a sensitive heart, you probably have shit self-esteem. So you're going to assume, oh, it must be me. And therefore, what's the point in trying, or nobody will see me, blah, blah. But actually, this is a decision, a real belief, a real tapping into how this is serving you. Like, this is your life force. If you look back over your life, you'll see how creativity has propped you up through life. And remembering that, and then going and finding the cliff edge to put your light out there, you know, finding the context in which to shine and people to be wow. And also you have to teach them the value. You do have to you have to educate people as to the value. I'll give you an example. I have there was somebody up here the other day, electrician up here the other day, and he was kind of moaning about, oh, nobody here knows what we do. We don't get much work locally. And I said to him, I said, well, till yesterday I didn't even know what you do. Your name gives absolutely no clue as to the fact, like, I thought you were a security alarm system. I didn't know you did electrician and Wi-Fi and all. Oh yeah, we do all that. But that, he's not communicating that to anybody. It's people are not being educated. You have to tell me, first of all, what is the value of this and how is that relevant to my life? So as you know, Tara, so much of our work is about identifying the value and then communicating the relevance of that value to your life.
That's right.
And that's on us. As creatives, that's on us.
Yeah.
So it is a decision that we make, that we decide to, you know, because it is busy work to just sit around and let the shame hole swallow you. It can feel, it's almost like a familiar discomfort. So it's like, it's hard either way. It's hard whether you go out and do the thing. It's hard if you don't. But one of those hards is going to actually move you, and one of them's keeping you stuck. So choose your hard, is what they say. I've gone on another tangent there.
But I love that, and I think that's so important. Just like, you know, there is a choice, just like you choose the traditional route and you go down that route, and if it doesn't work for you, you have a choice. There are other choices in business and in life to take, and it's to find the right one for you, to test it out and to see, well, don't think if this doesn't work, nothing will work, I'm doomed, I'm going back to my horrible 9-to-5 that I hate, and I'm never going to do anything again. Always make sure you're curious to the other ways of doing things, like, you know, I think that's really important.
And another thing, going back to your bio, Tara, right? Because I was like, okay, ambition, a strong desire to achieve something. And then the other thing that you were saying, just as I logged on to this call, you were saying like about following our true path. And I was like, what does that mean, true path? And so much of it then comes down to accuracy, right? And this is a lesson that you'll learn over and over again. So here's the default. Default goes, I'm struggling with this. It must be something I'm doing wrong, right? Instead of, I'm struggling with this. I wonder, like what you said, curiosity. I wonder what part of this, you know, I wonder what kind of resources I need. I wonder where I need, you know, I wonder what's happening in here. So, for example,
oh, Amanda, you're frozen, I think. Are you back? Are you there?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Where did I drop out there? Because God forbid anyone miss a word, I think.
So you were saying, oh shit, I'm under pressure now. You were saying, God forbid, that's where you stopped.
Okay.
So it's all about me. God forbid this is about me.
Oh, yeah. So at the beginning of this year, I want to give you an example of how this is still kind of happening to me. So as you know, the pandemic kind of spun everything off the axis, and we've had to change a little bit what we were doing. And so I changed something, and I came across, you know, I was like, what I was doing was kind of working, but the mammoth struggle, the struggle behind it, and I was already burnt out and blah, 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 so struggle. And I came to you and I was like, help. And you gave me a couple of resources. And what I discovered, because the tendency was to go to, oh, this isn't working because it's shite. My product is shite. My service is shite. What I discovered this year is you're struggling because you don't have a business model. That's why. You don't have a business model. You don't have blah, blah, blah. So actually, it had nothing to do with me. It was, you know, it was to do with the facilitation or the execution of it. It wasn't my idea. But why was I so, you know, now I wouldn't, because I'm still in the game. I still, in my deep heart of hearts, know the value of this.
Yeah.
But still, I would be much more willing to shoot my darlings, you know, and get all emotional about it before I actually take an objective look at, you know, oh, maybe it's a business model.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. But it's that accuracy. Accuracy.
Yeah, it's accuracy, and it's also looking at if something isn't working. You're right. Everyone blames their work, or everyone blames themselves. You know, I'm not good at this. I can't do it. And in business, and I've definitely learned this from all the businesses I've run in all different kind of places. I've learned that if something isn't working, if you're not making money the way you want, or something isn't selling, instead of going, oh, that must mean the product is shit, I'll start a new project. I'll start a new product, shiny object syndrome alert, like, and you go bananas, spending all the more research, and you get caught in all this big wheel of elongating results because you're stuck in that, I must start again, and you're back to square one, right? It's not fleshing out the idea and getting experienced eyeballs on it to give you guidance on what to do next. So it's like, that's the idea. I sold 3 of them, but I need to sell 300 of them to make money. Like,
Yeah.
will I do another product? Is this shit? No, you've proven it can sell. You just have to get a sales page, have a strategy, have a communication, have a bit of, let's develop it, like, rather than starting a new thing. And I see that all the time. And I've done it 50 million times as well. And it's like what I talked about yesterday, Amanda. We were talking about that shiny object syndrome. Focus is so important, and not taking your eyeball off the thing that you're really passionate about to make it work better. It's to tweak it, to test it, to really kind of peel it, like, once you've validated that 3 people love it. Now I have to find more of those 3 people.
Yes. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. It's another thing that has been confirmed to me over and over and over again. So if I'm only selling 3, it has nothing to do with it being shit. It's probably that I'm only selling it to 30 people.
Exactly.
You know, so it's not.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing as well, and this goes back to the biscuit community, the marketplace, the factory. The vulnerability in being in the startup phase and putting yourself out there and being like, lads, here's the thing, right? It's mostly an Irish audience here. I'm going to give an example by way of explain this. Oops.
You gone again. Get your man back in, I'd say, Amanda, to do your electrics. Maybe he was an alarm fitter after all. He wasn't doing Wi-Fi. You're gone again. So if you're after tuning in, are you back? You're back. You okay?
Right. I'm okay. My earphones seem to have dropped off, so I'm going to try and get them back on again. My earphones were like, oh, are we done? Okay, bye. So, but here's the thing, right? In regards to the biscuit community, does everybody here remember the ad from years ago for the guy was sitting up on the top of the bus and the bus was packed. He's just sitting there looking around. Eventually he stands up and he goes, I don't know what a tracker mortgage is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Nobody wants to admit that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that it's scary and that they feel inadequate and all of that stuff. But let me tell you, if you don't admit it, well, then you suffer in silence and you end up with thoughts that become feelings that just ground you to a halt and that make it impossible for you to go forward, create more stories. It must be you. See, this is everything that's wrong with you. I told you it was a stupid idea. And the next thing you know, you're literally just like, completely demoralized, completely defeated, suffering in silence and pretending not to be, so you kind of like, you know that gif of Homer Simpson just disappearing into the hedge? It's kind of like that. Like, it just disappeared. Hope nobody noticed that I tried, right? So going into the community and the biscuits and having a community to say, and you could not come across a more supportive community to say, lads, I don't even fucking know what VAT means.
Yeah.
And another, another example of this is being afraid to go to a financial advisor because you have no money.
Yeah. Thinking
that you need to have money before you can go to a financial advisor, when actually it's the other way around. Mm. And it's I used to think that about savings. I'd be like, I'm never going to be able to save because I thought savings was what you did with the money that was left over every month.
Yeah.
There's never anything left over. It's proactive. You decide up front, priority.
Yeah.
And so it's the same principle for everything. It feels counterintuitive to step into the business industry when you are clueless about it. Mm. But it is the exact thing that is necessary to do.
Because if you don't step into it, you do nothing.
Be that guy. Be the guy who comes into the factory and be like, lads, I don't know what a fucking tracker mortgage is.
That's
And
going to
that
be
will
my
at least,
entry video.
do you know what will happen? But do you know what will happen? Somebody will go, oh my God, thank God you said that, because
That's right.
me too.
That's right. That's right. You just have to be brave with this stuff too, don't you, Amanda? And it's like,
Be,
and it's,
yeah.
and
Be willing to be
bravery.
uncomfortable. Be willing
Yeah.
to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Be willing to learn. Be willing to not know.
Yes, that's right. And I see it all the time, if you're not asking questions and if you think you know all the answers, if you think, no, I know how to do that, I know what I need to do, I know, and I've been there, like I've run businesses before, I know what I need to do. No, you don't. You know what you've experienced, you know what results you've gotten, but you're always learning. And that's why I always work with a business mentor that helps me
Yeah.
with my stuff all the time, because
Yeah.
the landscape is changing. Your mindset is so deep in build and execution and ideas, that having an external eyeball is so powerful on your, because you don't see it when you're in it, like building and doing all. It's really, really challenging. So for anyone that's struggling with seeing things, or I would urge you to be honest with yourself and say, am I in the same place as I was this time last year? Do I really know it all? Maybe I don't, and be okay with
Yeah.
that. It's okay not to know it all. Nobody does. We're always learning as your business changes and develops. And it's so amazing when one phone call with a mentor or a conversation with someone that you trust, that can change the way you think about your work. That can have huge impact on results that you want, whatever they look like,
Yeah. And two things I have to say here. First of all, to think that we could possibly be on top of things in a technological run space in which Facebook is literally it is a different operating system than it was last week. It's impossible. Like Instagram, so today I have a music sticker, tomorrow I won't. Like, it's just always changing. So that conversation to have, lads, is anyone else, what's the story of Facebook ads? Somebody be like, oh, I was talking to a blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you have a copywriter, blah, 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 because of the networking that you're in. Now, the other thing is, I'm watching the names that are coming up here on The View, and I'm watching the comments that are coming in here. And of most of them, I have done business with most of them. So whatever about learning, you're also networking. And you're networking with people who are actually providing products and services that you want yourself. So that community is adding value to your life, and you are solving a problem they have, or helping them bring forward a vision they have somehow, just by being in the network. And my transactions are with the biscuit community all the time. See this studio that I'm sitting in right now? I can see Anya Atara is here, designer Feng Shui is here. She did this. Yeah. She designed this studio that I'm sitting in right now. Anna, who's there, has photographed all of my journals. Siobhan, who's there, has been to my workshop. We have traded with each other. These, I'm a mentor on a program at the moment, and a lot of the students going through the process are kind of. By the way, Anya, you didn't just do my studio here. She has been advising us on our whole house, and our house has been transformative. We're grieving the loss of my dad, and it goes deep, this stuff. I saw Siobhan making a comment there, that creatives are seen as flaky and lesser and blah blah blah, and I would say that really needs to be examined. That is, if you are believing that or having those thoughts, it's so disruptive, and it's so not true, because there is absolutely nothing flaky and nothing lesser, nothing unprofessional about the work, that the services we provide for each other. The candles that I light at the beginning of every one of my sessions are by Kristen. And I bring that into my work, that connects people with their souls. The joy that it gives me to to surround myself with people who are adding value to my life in a way that is just, anyway, that's one thing. But the networking, the mentoring. I'm in this mentoring program, and a lot of course, the new students are like, oh my God, how does marketing work? How am I going to get myself out there? Now, they're saying this in a classroom of 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to them, do you realize you're in front of your very first audience right now?
Mm-hmm.
You think that this class, you're in this class of 40 people thinking, how am I going to reach all the anonymous folk on internet land? I said, fucking start here.
That's right.
These are your students. These are your clients. That's how it works. That is how it has worked for us in the biscuit factory. Yes, we are learning at the same time, but then we are also doing business together. We are networking, and that network spreads a long, long way.
Yeah, that's
a
right.
long way. And the amount of business that I know that the biscuits have given each other, it's such a beautiful thing. And the strangeness is taken out of us because we have a culture that you have created for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
This friendliness, this support. My God.
Yeah. It's great. And I think it's just needed, isn't it? And even what you do too, Amanda, it's that facilitation. It's just providing the safe space for creatives to feel listened to and heard. And also for me, it's empowering the business side of it, we have to learn the things we need to move forward with whatever we want on the other side. What is it? What does success look like for you? Is it, I just need enough money so I can keep doing this? Or is it, I want, my own studio. I want to be in every retail space in Europe. Like, I want global domination, whatever it looks like. There's no judgment. You define it and you work backwards. Okay, let's build a roadmap to that then, and make it work.
Yeah. And how do you want it to feel in the process? This is about fulfillment. This is about expression of need. This is about meeting your needs. And also business. I was always terrified of business, even in school. When I was in school, the commerce class, it was like as if it had tentacles. That word commerce used to frighten me in school. And I'd be like, because I would just think some copies, brains, all the boys went in there. That was a boys' class. And commerce was this world I wasn't allowed to fucking get along. And I was up in the arts class, home economics, doing this other skill set that was just, they were taught almost like as faff subjects. They were the easy ones.
That's right.
But they were the humanities. But commerce, so I was terrified of business. But what I've realized is, now that it's clicked with me, business is about connecting. That's it. Showing up, showing people who you are, and making it easy for them to approach you, making it easy for them to trust you, and making it easy for them to see how you fit in their lives. And and something like showing them and this is not going to work for everybody, but here's what a kind of a thing that I do is I'm quite an open book, but I'm showing people all the time the work I'm doing on my life, and that I'm living the kind of life that makes me happy, right? And I'm showing you that because I work in an intangible field. I don't have results to, oh, she made 60 grand this year, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. If that was somebody else, that's, you could certainly do that and be like, Amanda went from, 60 quid to 60 grand, whatever. Yeah. But for me, it's all qualitative. It's quality of life. So I show that. And I tell you, it's contagious. Like, it works the same as, do you ever be around someone who just is such a downer, energy vampire, and you just want to be, you don't want to be around them. But have you ever been around someone where you're like, I don't know what it is about this person. They're like the biscuit. I want to be around these people because whatever it is, I want it to rub off on me. So you show them that because that people are attracted to that. You have to actually show a bit of something that they can point at and say, oh, I want that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And every creative person that I've worked with and talked to and, you know, helped along the way, people, I know some people are thinking, but that's all great for you and Amanda. That's all fine because you turn up well, you have the confidence to turn up on video, you can talk for Ireland, you know, we tend to do. And we're naturally, and definitely for me, like even coming on here, doing lives every Friday, I still have to push myself to do them. Like, no, and I love doing them and I love being on, but that half an hour before, I'm like, she's like the jitters there now, like, oh, you know, I still get that, like, and I've been doing this a long time. I don't think that ever leaves you if you have, you know, if you, and it's hard to turn up and it's hard to put yourself out there, but everyone has something to bring to the table, whether it's showcasing, like you do, Amanda, showcasing your everyday and what that reality looks like and that, you know, journey that you're on, that discovery that you're on, or if it's me doing my little, you know, videos on do this, or, you know, focus on this and trying to help people in that way. Or if you're sharing screen and showcasing your hands making whatever you do, in whatever way you're turning up with your stuff to show people, because if you're not showing it, they don't see it. Like, and if they don't see it or hear you, how can they connect to you, or how can they, or how can you bring your amazing whatever to them? And it's, I think there's a mindset shift with that one.
There is, and it's a very good point you make, and it is important, I guess, to acknowledge a couple of things, right? So, you know, we're in the area of acknowledging different privileges, right? So, and I'm always conscious to acknowledge that, you know, I have a husband who has, you know, hauled the buckets this whole time while I had figured this shit out for a start. I mean, he couldn't switch a computer on for the life of me. He'd just often say, oh, I wish I could help you. When he sees me losing my shit over things, he's like, oh, I wish I could help you. And I'm like, just keep fucking driving. Just keep driving that truck and we'll be grand. That is helping. But anyway, there's that. And then there's, you know, I'm a very good learner. So I also, you know, I grew up in a family of performers. So yes, some things are easier for me. And also I don't mind being an open book. But there are people who have more concerns about their privacy. They are less, you know, it just, either it doesn't come to them or anything about being online. So what do those people do? I got an excellent email from a coach I worked with last year. Her name is Jay Fields. And her email was, are you performing or relating? And I think that a lot of the time people think they have to perform, that this is a performance. Yes, maybe, you know, performance is part of who I am. It's part of who you are, but I don't feel like I am performing. Do you get me? I don't feel like I have to come on here and be somebody I'm not.
Yes.
In order to do this. Yes. But going back to the following your true path, if this is not who you are, it's gonna feel wrong for you to do it. You're going to be forcing, and you are going to be performing, which will eclipse any kind of relating that you can possibly do. So if you think about relationship, you know, how are you in relationship with people? I know people who run Instagram accounts, and I'm going to say Kirsten Ivers from Tin Up Farm, Tipperary.
Yeah,
I don't know what that girl looks like. Because I know what her chickens look like. I know what her dog looks like. I know what her farm, her tractor. I know what all of those things look like. I have no idea what Kristen looks like. She's not on camera. I don't know what her voice says. In fact, I was surprised. I was buying off Kristen for probably a year or 2 years before I realized is she Australian or something?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I just assumed she was Irish, but I did not know because she's never on camera, ever. But yes, she's doing it her way.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does their own way. Verge online. When I'm on Verge's stories, I feel like I'm in an episode of an Arabian adventure. I don't know where I'm going to end up with Verge, where she's going to take me, but up the mountains, in the valleys, India, France. I have no idea. Like I literally have to strap in when I'm watching Verge, but that's Virgil's way, and her whole
Yeah,
thing is the wild spirited.
that's right.
My
That's
whole thing, yeah, and my whole thing is, you know, like it's all about talking about your feelings. So it's about being real. So when you tune into me, I probably have no bra on, no makeup. I'm done up for this interview here, but you know, my hair could be look like this. I could be crying, but I'm consistent.
yes, with it.
And
Yeah,
it's the same with you. You have the mustaches
yeah,
because you're making business fun,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
business can be fun. So however it is that you can relate or create a relationship
Mm.
between you and your audience, or your brand and your audience. And I say audience, now that's the wrong word.
Yeah,
You and your people who are people, you know,
yeah,
they're in there. Um, like Anna Dorado does it beautifully. She's a photographer, and
yeah.
Anna creates something, a want in you to work
Mm.
with her,
Mm.
with the degree to which she can present beauty,
Yeah, that's right.
capture it, make things look like I want to climb into that hammock, or I want that candle. Like it just
Yeah, yeah.
puts that want, that desire, I don't know.
In front of you. I love that performing. I love that performing and
Relating.
relating. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. I think that's really smart. So I'd recommend, I'm going to write it on my wall there, because I think it's a really important one to make it
Yes.
easier to turn up is, well, how am I want to relate rather than I have to make everyone laugh because that's what your one's doing and I have to copy her, or I have to do
Yes.
freaking dances and the thing when I feel like a gobshite doing that. Don't do it. Like if you feel like you're performing, if it comes naturally and it's, you know, it's the way you are naturally, it won't be such a big thing for you. Like, I love that, Amanda, performing
Yeah.
and relating. I think that's great.
Yeah. And so consider how you are in relationship, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what you're offering. At the end of the day, you're offering a relationship. And here's another thing, right? You sometimes see people coming in and acting like the wham bam. I mean, thank you, ma'am. Have you ever been in a pub or a social situation where your man, you know, just like has one thing on the brain and he has to get himself sauced up, and you know that he's going to approach it and just be like, hit you with the rhythm stick kind of a thing, and he wants no fucking relationship with you. He just wants his whole, you
yeah,
know? And
yeah, yeah,
it's like, that's approaching a sale like that. Like, I'm only like, this is a one-time thing, or it's about the sale,
yeah.
is a one-way ticket to people just fucking running in all directions,
Right.
like they do from the creepy guy in the pub.
That's right.
What we want is someone to get to know us. So the relationship is
Turn
it's the
game.
long haul. It's
It
the
is.
long haul, and you have to earn it. I think mine is about a 2 year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a courtship. It's a 2 year courtship.
Yeah, that's right. And the key thing is turning up consistently. Like, it's just not giving up on it too early, because it does take time, and it's always the long haul is, you know, you need the passion behind you to actually survive the long haul, because, you know, if you don't, then you're not going to be able to turn up as enthusiastically as if you didn't, like, you know. So
Yeah,
it's finding that passion as well, isn't it, and not shying away from it.
and provide that container of relationship to your client as well, because I mean, everybody here has probably at some stage in their life has been in a relationship with that person who just comes around when it suits them.
Yeah,
And you feel, ugh, at the end of it, you might kind of like settle for it because you don't, you know, but at the end of the day, you just been like, what was I thinking? It's the exact same thing. You know, it
yeah,
really is. Be the person that shows up all the time for the person you claim to love. And you know, like my husband is just blows me away like that in terms of how he's always there for me and
yeah.
always shows up and keeps his word.
Mm,
And to the point where it's almost traumatic,
mm.
because it has highlighted to me the amount of chancing and chancers what I have settled for in the past with these arseholes
Mm.
who come around only when they want something, and it's all about,
Yeah. That's great to actually have that mindset as well with your business, like, is to, there's people on the other side of those numbers, like there's humans with
yeah,
feelings, and that, I think we always have to keep kindness at the center of what we do, and not always be looking for the next number, the growth, or that there's actual people watching, or people
mm,
wanting your stuff and engaging, and and I feel really strongly about that. I think it's heavy with your time, but I think it's really important to always know that it's not just about a number. And that influences how you turn up and what you talk about as well. That it's not a sale all the time and focused on the number. There's people listening to you, like, or watching you make,
yeah.
or there's people there. It's not just how many people. You know what I mean? Like
I do, and you bring up a great point. Oh my God, you tell me when we're running out of time, because I'm just like drinking the coffee and I'm like, I could talk about this all day. But let's bring it back to the sale as well, right? Yes, there are people behind us. This is a relationship that we get. Well, you can absolutely run your business however you want, but for me, it has to be fulfilling in the way that it brings me connection to my audience. Also, yes, it's exhausting maybe to show up and build those relationships. Do you know what's harder though? Trying to sell to people who don't know you.
Yes.
Trying to sell to people who don't like you. Trying to sell to people who don't understand you, who don't get you, who don't know about you, who don't trust you. Try that on. That's exhausting. That is absolutely 100% exhausting. But it is very important to ask for the sale as well, Tara.
That's right.
When the time comes. So you're not just out for yourself, blah, blah, blah. I had a lovely comment the other day from Aideen, from Firechild Photography, another biscuit.
That's right.
Who I've done, we have traded business. I'm her client. She's my client.
Yeah.
She said to me, she was on a call the other day, and I had this big, I had my boot camp, and I made a sales pitch at the end of it. Now, she said to me, I've never had, and she's not the only one who said this to me, I've never actually cried during a sales pitch. I've never been so moved by a sales pitch. So this ability to bring the two together and not make them mutually exclusive. So just because we have a relationship doesn't mean that I'm not in business also with you. But I think that when you have a relationship, that you move it from a place of expense and cost to investment and value. And I know myself, when I don't spend money anymore, I invest it. I love to invest in myself, whether that is a shellac manicure, Botox, fucking new studio, sheets, bed sheets. I do it because of how I want to feel. I want to feel, like, this is great.
Yeah.
So, but if everything was just like, if I thought it was just a one-way street and not an exchange, not a win-win situation, well, then I would feel resentful. You have my money and I got nothing for it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think some of us are afraid to ask for the sale sometimes because we're afraid people will turn on us. Oh, I liked you until you looked for something.
That's right.
But you're giving the value all the time. And because of that, people are almost, they want to support you, and it's not about you. You've demonstrated to them how this can be their story too.
Yeah.
So it becomes transactional.
And I think that is a huge body of work for creative people, is being okay with asking for the sale. It's really challenging because we love giving our value and sharing our thing and sponsoring a charity and giving. And then after, 10, 11 and a half months of giving, there's 2 weeks of trying to sell stuff shoved in the corner going, it's Christmas, I better sell something, and it's not given enough attention and enough importance in the whole scheme of things. If I need to make a bit, I need to create a business, I need to make money so I can continue creating the work and bringing fucking gorgeous things to the world. I need money to be able to do that. And I'm helping people make their home more beautiful, empower them, educate them, take beautiful pictures of their business and them and their products so that they can sell more. And I'm the value behind that. And it's okay to ask for money for something.
Yeah, and you know what a lovely way to think of it is, and I learned this year, making offers. Instead of thinking about sales, making offers. So I had an experience this year where I was part of a workshop, the boot camp that doesn't exist anymore, but anyway. And I was given so much value in it that by the time it came around, I was like, oh, Jesus, I hope they make me an offer, because I wanted to continue the journey. So I was like, I hope there's something at the end of this. I hope he's going to sell me something. So I was at that position where the value had been demonstrated to me. And now I was at a point where it was like, I want this and I want to invest in this. This is exactly where I'm at. And so I found myself, I kind of started to say, it was so profound for me that I started to talk to my client, my own students, about the idea of asking the universe to make you an offer you can't refuse. That's what I want. Because when I made propositions like that, and an offer I can't refuse, there is something so exciting to me about that. And so I think about that now as well. I am making you an offer. I'm not selling. Like, yes, it's a sale at the end of the day, but it's not. The idea of sales or selling implies that one person's getting something and one person's giving something.
Yeah.
It's a giving-getting situation, as opposed to making somebody an offer, like a proposition.
Yeah.
A hand to say, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
with the benefit at the end. So you offer with, these are the benefits of the offer. Like, this is what happens when you take the offer. Yeah.
Yeah, like making someone an offer they can't refuse is, to me, like, or the idea of the universe making me an offer I can't refuse. There's nothing more exciting to me than when something crosses my path and I'm like, that is what I want, because it's focus. It is. But otherwise, you're just like, I don't know what it is, and it's the itch you can't scratch.
Yeah.
And then you're vulnerable. Because maybe it's a diet, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and the predatory sales will come in and try and fill that gap, right? And this brings us back to the idea of, from the almost full circle, in terms of this abstract quality of following your desire, and this business and creativity being an expression of need. And we often think as needs as deficits or holes to be filled, or something that, like it's something nobody wants to need, and but if you think of a need as something that wants expression in you, I'm not totally confusing myself there, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's like, what was I saying? This abstract thing. Like, it's a very vulnerable place to be when you're in this, like, following your heart.
Yeah.
And it might, like, if you are more goal orientated, you might be more outcome focused, and so it might look like, a diet that you don't need, or blah blah blah, or blah blah blah. Whereas if somebody makes you the offer, they can focus you and put a form on the thing you didn't even know
you needed,
is going to help you express that desire in you. So that's, I think, what I really want to say is, let's get beyond the sales part, because that's a language. But if you root down, every human being on this planet is an expression of desire. And we have a desire, and desire is meant to be expressed. Needs are energies that want expression. And so when we are making offers that help people meet those needs, so express those energies, and the energy they can exchange for that expression is energy you need to run your business, currency, money, well, then it's a win. It's a completely different situation. If you look at it, then like it becomes this bigger thing between you. I'm gone very philosophical about that, but I want people to know that sales are like being salesy. I love that you send that message out every week, and the show off Friday, like be salesy. But we're terrified because we think that someone's going to fall out with us if we ask for something. We're too busy trying to please everybody. But no, think about the person who has a desire that they want expressed, and make them offers.
Yeah, I love that. It's just reframing. Language is so powerful, isn't it?
Very.
It's just reframing it, isn't it, Amanda? That whole language thing. So if you had to give 2 or even 1 tip to somebody today listening, Amanda, because we're going to wrap up now. It's nearly an hour. I can't believe it.
Yes.
If you were to say one thing to somebody that is at the start of their business, or even feeling like that they're stuck in their business, that they're, that their income hasn't really, their revenue is never getting past that, like it's never growing, they're doing all the things, they're not, you know how that feels, like you've been there so many times, like, or just that initial, what the hell am I doing? I've so many different ideas, I've so many different products or services I could bring to the table from my passion or passions. What would you say to people at that stage? What do you think is the best thing people could do?
Okay. So what I would say, when you're at that stage, you're in that kind of like all over the place. What you need is focus. And what focuses you better than anything else is investment. And an investment that feels scary. Because nothing will light the fire under your ass and get you accountable, on board. That sign up for something that's very affordable, well then you haven't enough skin in the game to step up. So when you put enough money on the table, it kind of awakens you. It snaps you out of entertaining all of the different ideas and thoughts and problems and everything, and it snaps you into solution mode, because you're like, fuck, I'm not letting this money go down the tube. And like I had a situation like that this year where I invested what felt like, well, it's not that it felt like, it invested money that was scary to invest. And then here's the other thing. I invested it, and then I realized once it was invested, because of the amount I have invested in, and it was an investment, so I'm invested, I actually had to then invest again to protect that initial investment.
That's right.
So investment is what I would say, and really I would encourage everybody to go to the dictionary, explore the true meaning of investment. It's not about cost. It's not about expense. Investment as a person, whatever about money, you're investing your money as well. But that's what I would encourage everybody here to go and do your research and find out for yourself what it means to be invested and become invested.
I love that because it's for me personally in my business, and I know for you as well, the minute we started investing in ourselves and our businesses, the whole thing changed. The landscape just went, oh, okay. The understanding, the development, the confidence, the momentum, and you take yourself more seriously when you go, okay, this is for me, this is for my business. Now let's make shit happen. I think that's so important. Amanda, you're a legend, girl. We could talk all day. Like, we should have like a 24-hour challenge.
Stop. Yeah, I know. Well, hey, you never know. I mean, I think we should collaborate at some stage, Tara.
Definitely. I was thinking about it earlier. Definitely. We'll get on that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amanda Grace, for coming on.
So welcome.
You're a
So
star.
welcome.
And lads, thanks so much for tuning in. And it was great to see so many familiar Vickies into to listen to the two of us. And I just can't wait for our next get together. A biscuit bash is well due. So we'll all get offline and see each other in real time, hopefully early next year. So thanks, gang, for tuning in. And just a reminder, we have 2 seats left in the Biscuit Factory. I just got a ping from my VA to say we have 2 seats left. So if you want business mentoring, 2 seats left.
If you want to invest in yourself,
that's right. Click the link
and
in
your
the
community
bio
and your network.
That's right. It's so important, gang. Okay.
Are you recording? Are you saving this?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
share it later on my channel as well. I know that I've lots of.
Thanks, Mrs. Thanks,
You're welcome.
lads. We'll see you next Friday on the Friday Takeaway. And I'll talk to you soon, Amanda. Thanks, love.
Thank you.
Thanks, gang.
Bye.
Bye.